Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. We have, I see, Quizzy, I've answered your, I just replied to your email just 2 minutes ago. Okay, sorry, you cannot hear me. I cannot hear you. Okay, no, it will be fine. Yeah, sorry. So hi, everybody. I see we have Jamala Ong, H7. I see also Baobab with Kululeko. So maybe we'll start. I will start here just with some technical points. Just after, it will be very interesting to have your feedback after the first session, main session we had yesterday. So very practical points here. As you have noticed, we have changed the date for the coach session from 26 to 29 November, because 26 was on Saturday. So we were mixing days. So 29 is a Monday, the following Monday. We have still, don't know if you know who is this person. We still have one person here without an organization on the platform. It's, I don't know, I didn't find this person in your list of entrepreneurs or coaches. It's this guy here, Percy Moutel. Do you know? Maybe he's from Tuxnovation, I don't know.
No, he's not from our side.
Okay. Okay, so.
Hi, Albine.
Hey.
Percy is actually one of Tumolokong's entrepreneurs.
Ah, it's okay, Tumolong. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
but we haven't been.
Sorry, you have muted your micro.
Sorry, that was a mistake. So I'm saying we've been trying to get a hold of him since yesterday, and we haven't been able to. So we'll keep trying to get a hold of him.
Okay. Okay, so no, it's okay. It's set. Yeah, and Quizzy, I was saying I've replied to your email you just sent, and we'll also we'll maybe have a view on this point, because some points. This point is not only Chemolong having these issues, and so but what we propose also is to to have, because in terms of time, in terms of availabilities from all of you, it's quite a constraint to be attending the coach session and the main session and the full main session, all of them. So what we propose is to have the coach session like an overview, a browsing, a full overview of what will be the main session. So it has two interests. First interest, it prepare you to the main session. And second interest, it makes you possible not attend if you cannot the main session, or maybe some parts you want to review at the main session. And secondly, for the workshop part of the main session, which you have seen, it's in the afternoon from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. We propose, of course, that you attend with your coaches if you can. If you cannot, other coaches from other organizations can be a relay, can be supporting your entrepreneurs during this workshop. And of course, you have to supervise them and to maybe have some appointments with them, virtual appointments, to review what they have done during the workshop. And you will be able, because you at the coach session, you have already be using the tools they will use in this workshop in the main session. Do you get my point? Does it answer to your points?
I think that helps. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you say that if it happens that none of our coaches can attend a session, other coaches can support. And I guess if we then other coaches are not there, we can also be able to support entrepreneurs from other hubs. And of course, we then make time to sit with our entrepreneurs to just see that they are keeping abreast and up to date.
Yes. And you will be not losing information, because the coach session will be an overview of the main session in preparation. And of course the workshop session in the workshop time in the main session, you could have this workshop when you want with your entrepreneurs, when you can in your schedule. So you can maybe have a review if they have worked during the session with other coaches or with us, with a Boston coach, and we can have a review with them just to check that they are on the track. They are not lost in the process. And when you can have this, and I do recommend you to have these these appointments with them, very maybe short appointments, like 10, 20 minutes, just to check that they are on the good way, they are on the track, and they are not lost in the process, or they are blocked. They are blocking on some principles or concept, or so you see. So it's good that you have some interaction as much as possible, not long, but just to be sure that they are going. And it will be a good training for you to have their question, and some of these questions you will be able to answer because you have already been facing the same concept and workshop in the coach session, but you will be also maybe some of these questions you could not answer, and you will have to contact us, and you can contact us anytime you need on the WhatsApp group dedicated to the coaches. And here, of course, we are available anytime to answer to your question, the question you could have from the entrepreneurs. Does it make all clear? Okay, I see. And Kululeko, I think you had some. I saw you had some issues in availability. So maybe does it answer some of your availability issues? And Kululeko, you are here.
Oh, hi there.
Hi.
I couldn't hear you there for a second. Yes. So yeah, everything is well on this end. In fact, we had a scheduled meeting with the municipality just to answer some of those questions that they had. But outside of that, Jean-Luc and I are coping. So yesterday I wasn't around, but he was around. Today he isn't around, but I'm around. But yeah, I think we've got a good tag team system that will just ensure that at least someone from our sort of organization is available at all times.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, of course, you can have relay, of course, like this. Yeah. Okay, so good points. Do you have questions about this from the other?
No questions at all. All's looking well. Yeah.
Okay. And other participants, other coaches here? Do you have?
No, it's just me for today.
Okay,
but I'm certain tomorrow, Jean-Luc will be around and some of the other participants.
Okay. And other participants we have here, coaches, do you have questions about these points? Availability, connection between main session and coach session?
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of a concern, Alvin, because, you know, I attended the first coaching session, and then yesterday there were participants that came on to yesterday, and I feel that it was a little bit disruptive to me because they were not part of the coaching session, and yet they were coaching yesterday. And it just became disruptive because I ended up giving an inaccurate feedback yesterday.
Inaccurate feedback?
You know, when I had to,
to the entrepreneurs?
No. You know, all the feedback all the coaching that was given to the entrepreneurs, I think it became lost in translation, so that when we actually had to do our strategy canvas, it was completely wrong.
No, it was not wrong. Not really. You are discovering all of that. It was not wrong. It was just an approach. Of course, you will have to start again with
sure.
this tool.
And I think that's it. It's just disruptive to people that are attending, and then they don't attend, and then they do attend, and they don't seem to, you know, they're a bit unfamiliar with the sequence of coaching and what we've been prepped for. So I found that a little bit disruptive, to be honest.
But you know, all your coaches, they need to be at the coach session. It's a preparation of the main session or what they will have to do with the entrepreneurs. If they don't attend the coach session, of course, they will be lost. You see, I see from DUT, it's only you today. It's not possible. All your coaches will be lost if they are not attending the coach session. It's a preparation of the workshop, and you see, you get my point.
Yes, and I wish I could just take them and shake them.
We are not wizards. We cannot. That's why we have this coach session, shorter, but they are here to. We use this session with coaches to prepare, to make you feel comfortable, to support, and of course, at the beginning, you will not have all the answers to the question from your entrepreneurs. You will have some because you have already used the tool, but you cannot answer all the questions. That's why we are here, and that's why there is this WhatsApp. It's a telephone. We have this WhatsApp group where I see you don't use it for now, but you should, because in this WhatsApp group, it's direct interactive answer you will get. Real-time answering to your question when you are coaching or supporting the entrepreneurs. So we are here for that. It's your coach support. See? It's okay, Lanan, it answer your point? And Lanan, you are still here?
I'm still here, yes.
Okay, yes. Do you get my point about the WhatsApp group?
Yes, I'm on that WhatsApp group. You must see my pictures already on there.
Yeah, good.
So we started using it yesterday. Yes, no, absolutely. Thank you for that. It makes our communication a bit easier.
It's real-time support to you when you are with your entrepreneurs, and sometimes question you cannot answer.
Are all the entrepreneurs also on that WhatsApp, or is it only the coaches?
No, only the coaches. It's only for
Okay,
the coaches.
perfect. Okay, that's great. Thank
The
you.
link you have here, the link, coach WhatsApp group for support. It's this link.
Yes, I've got it on my phone. Thank you.
Are we all ready on this coach WhatsApp group? Everybody, all the coaches could join it. Are you all ready with the invites, coach and main session invites? They have been all sent. And all about organization. Yesterday it was like starting session. So, and you saw we use now, we'll be using the working space platform, Igezia, its name, working platform with the Zoom conference room. So at the beginning it was not very easy, but now I think you get it, or to use these tools, I guess. And please let us know if there are some still uncovered points or questions. So now we'll ask to each of you to give feedback and first reactions regarding the session we had yesterday. If you okay, it's good to hear from each of you. And before, maybe Jason, you want to complete, add some elements here?
No, nothing to add.
Alban, can I just ask you if you can quickly show us those dates again, please?
Sorry?
The dates.
The dates, yeah. The dates. You mean the date for coach session or all the dates? Yeah, you have.
Yeah, all of them are really important. But
yeah, you have all the dates.
okay, thank you.
All the dates are here.
I think somewhere along the line, I may have missed replies because when I went through my calendar, I've got gaps.
Alors, as I said yesterday, it will be easier for you to go on this page here. This page you see in the working platform, yes. Collaborative working agenda, and here you have all the sessions, okay? And you can add, if there are some missing in your agenda, you can add.
Yes,
yeah,
that'll be perfect. Because I definitely have a few missing up. So
yeah.
For example, I'll have coach session 4, but then I'll have main session 5, and I'm like, oh, what happened to the middle one?
Yes, okay. Yeah, sometimes there are some emails blocking these invites. We don't know why. So it's good to check, of course, that you have all set in your agenda. You see, there are 2 tabs. One tab for the main session, one tab for the coach session. And you can add to your calendar, any of them. So it's all up to date, and we keep it up to date here. Okay, so let's have the feedback from each of you. So let's start by Quizzy. Quizzy, from your coaches, your entrepreneurs from Chimelong. How was this session yesterday?
She noted that she stepped out.
Okay, she stepped out. Okay, sorry. Maybe les ego? Les ego?
Okay, hi everyone.
Hi.
Yesterday's session went great on our side, even though some of our entrepreneurs, they ended up getting lost in some of the groups. And then there were others who had technical issues in terms of connecting. But then I think before we left, some of them were able to join the group, even though they didn't sort of contribute a lot of things. But then I think the session was very great, and yeah, looking forward to learning more.
Okay, that sounds positive. Thank you. And of course, these technical issues, it was from their side, I mean, connection, or it was from the platform?
It was from the platform.
Okay, so please, if there are any, are they all solved by the support from Igezia?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's always okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's why we had this testing session and this starting time to be all set. So and for now there are no, all is fixed, all is working fine.
Yes, it is working. Yes.
Okay, so that's good. Okay, great, thanks. And I see Ibtiaj from H7 also, if you want to.
Hello everyone. Regarding yesterday's session, I think it was really interesting for us, and it was really an introductory session because I think we missed the first coach sessions, so we had the possibility to discover, I mean, the methodology and the whole process. To be honest, it was a little bit difficult at the beginning for our entrepreneur to get along with the platform, but I think it's normal. We will get better day after day, I hope. And otherwise, all the topics and all the topics were presented by the rest of entrepreneurs were really interesting, and I think we at the end of the whole training there will be I think I mean there will be great synergies between the whole the whole cohort, coaches and entrepreneurs from Morocco and from South Africa.
Yeah, it would be a good point, of course. What you said it was some issues from what were these issues you said you were mentioning?
I mean, issues, not really issues, but it was a little bit complicated to use the platform at the beginning.
And what, for instance, where?
I mean, to use the, let me tell you, because I'm not connected on the platform.
It's here. Yeah, I can show you.
If you go on Opla.
Yes.
I mean, we made a little bit of time to understand that we had to fill all the categories, and especially the graph. The graph one was little bit, I mean, it was not very intuitive, if I can say. But at the end, it was okay.
Okay. So that's why maybe we should be more detailed. We have this workshop brief before the workshop starts, so to show you all what you have to do on the platform, because
yes, I think what we are doing now is really mandatory and will be really helpful for the next main session. I mean, it will prevent us from all the issues we faced yesterday.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks a lot. I see Basma El Azouzi is from H7, I guess, too. Basma, do you want to add something? Your feedback?
I think she wrote you because
sorry.
she wrote you feedback.
Okay, Basma. Okay, technical problem. Okay. Kwesi, are you back? Kwesi, are you available? Yeah, if you want to give your feedback, overall in press.
So I think the session went well. I think a big mistake that we made is because a lot of our guys were so new to the platform, we as the coaches ended up using their platform and they were observing what we were doing when it should have actually been, I think, more of them doing and us supporting what they are doing. We also took a while to figure out the groups because some of the areas that they're trying to address don't sit perfectly within the priorities of the municipalities. But when we look at all the potential areas that you had sent us, we're able to locate. And so I think as a way of getting people to understand what it is that they needed to do for themselves, we then, stayed as one group and we worked on one solution. And then at least they knew what they had to then do when they go off and they're doing it for their own particular solution. It was also nice to have Jason pop in because, at times you don't interpret how you should be using the graph correctly. Like, so I know, for example, we had an issue where our interpretation, except for price, we were looking at everything in terms of what the value is, but not looking at the value from the user's perspective. And he came in right on time to advise with that. And it, changed the way we were then interpreting and completing the graph throughout the entire time we were there.
Yeah, we have also fixed this problem. You had to reorder on your graph.
Yes, we had a lot.
It's fixed. We had no, it's on the same as we said. It's every time it's good for a good understandability of the graph to have a growing curve, but with the price always remaining at first, but reordering the key elements to have one of the curve growing. It will make all more readable. Okay, good. So we add. So you can see here we have a new section here. It's assignment, and you can see here. You will see. You don't see on my screen, but if you go from your profile, you will see assignment. It's what the homework, what you have to do with the date. So the date we will fix it, and you can answer on your each participant can answer and say, okay, I've finalized the Canva, the conclusion. You can see on this section, assignment. Assignment. Okay. So what we'll do now is there is still Nukuleko is back. Okay, great. Nukuleko, if you want to give your impress regarding yesterday or the feedback you had from Jean-Luc, maybe.
Cool. So the feedback that he gave me was that because we're still on the onboarding process with the entrepreneurs on our side, so you might find that some of them went on the call yesterday. But he overall said that he enjoyed the process. It was smooth, and he doesn't have any questions at this stage. What he did say is that let's just look out in terms of the actual timings, because there are some sessions which are from 9 a.m. till about 6, and then there's the coach sessions which are from about 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So he just alerted me that I need to be aware of the different types of sessions and just to sort of clear in the diaries. And thank you for those calendar invites. Responded yes to all of them, and so blocked out the diary till next year.
Okay, good. Of course, all the main sessions are from 9 to 6.
100%.
And all the coach sessions are from 2 to 5. 6.
Yes, and one thing that I've noticed is that having gone onto the IGCA platform, I don't actually have a view of the of what you see. So it sort of comes up as a chat bar, and I click on the what's it called?
But,
Like,
okay, you want to share your screen? So you want to share your screen to show?
Well, let me share my screen. There we go. I'm gonna share my tab. Cool. You see that?
Yes, we see.
Cool. So what? Then I go to room details here, and then I go back. And then
Where are you? You are not on the. No, I don't know where you are on a different part. No, it's not the good address. No, it's
because I go on assignments and I see the assignments here, and I try click inside, and it doesn't.
No. You have to go. I will send you the link.
Okay.
You need to go on this link, maybe or the register link also.
Okay, cool. So
try just to go on this link here. I don't know if you are already registered. It seems so. Try this link here on the chat.
Yeah. I've clicked on the link. Going inside.
If it does not work, you can try this link also.
Yeah, because I've been through this process, but let's go on. In fact, let me just go log in.
Show your screen. Share your screen, please. So where you are.
1 second. Yeah. Cool, sorted. So if I just share screen, I go there. Voila, there we go.
Okay, it's the right place.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorted.
Okay. Yeah, you have good. Okay, all is good. Yeah. Okay. So what we will do? So we don't have someone from UNISA, and yes, okay, it's a pity. So no, we will, as we said, present to you an overview, a browsing of what we will have tomorrow for the main session. So the agenda is this. We will start with welcome reminders, where we are sharing. I hope we will have Monique from Johannesburg. We had some exchanges, so I hope she will be able to join tomorrow to share the hot topics from Joburg. We'll ask all the participants and the entrepreneurs to present their finalized as-is strategic canvas with their conclusion. So if some of you maybe at DUT not yet maybe finalized this canvas, you need to stay on track. You will need to have quite shortly a canvas for each of your entrepreneur group. Because we'll continue the process, and they have to be clear about the industry perimeter. What are the offerings on this industry perimeter? To understand if it's a red or blue ocean, is there some potential to create something new or not? So feel free, Lanahan and all the team from DUT to reach us on the chat, on the WhatsApp group, if you need some support in that. Okay. So, and then we'll have an introduction, and Jason will share it now to you. Introduction to the non-customers and 6PASS principles with the Blue City cases. I will present the one Blue Ocean strategy, Blue Ocean Awards winner in the transportation mobility, and then the brief. So the workshop brief will be about non-customers and 6PASS. Remember, you had to prepare for the 2nd of December this 6PASS description. So you already have that in mind. So I hope you will be able to support your entrepreneurs, and they will list their non-customers and describe the 6 paths. That's what we will do today at this session today with you, just to train you, to make you ready on this customers profiling and 6 paths description, and then the sharing time, and they will have to finalize for the next session their 6 paths description. Okay. Do you have some question about this agenda we'll have tomorrow? Okay. So yeah, about reminders, I think it's okay. We don't. So we remind them about the process, about the key principles, and where they are. So visual awakening. The objective is to have this first step ready, finalized tomorrow. And where we are here. Tomorrow it will be this finalizing the strategic environment and identification of the non-users and non-customers. Be aware of this this change for the 3rd session with the coaches from 26 to 29 November. So yeah, it's just a reminder of what they have done, where they are. Normally they will finalize this Canva, and what we will do tomorrow with them, what you will train today is this non-customers list and profile and the 6 paths description for my industry. We have Monique, I hope, from Joburg, sharing some topics. So principles, it will be about non-customers and 6 paths. You already had at the first session the 6 paths introduction by Jason. We'll give you some reminder here. But yeah, I'll give the floor to Jason about the non-customers.
Okay, thanks, Sylvain. Again, just another brief let's find what to share. Another brief introduction to the 6 paths. So I need to
Non-customers. Yes.
Which will lead us to the 6 paths. That's my point. Is to okay, so non-customers, and you'll hear this again tomorrow, but just so you have a heads up of what a non-customer was. A non-customer was first described by Peter Drucker, the famed management guru, and he defined the non-customer as just someone who you don't sell to today. Clayton Christensen mentions non-customers as well, but again, it's just people outside of your market. Our approach to non-customers is number one, people you learn from, because they may not know you, like with the we case yesterday, and they will have opinions about you. They may know you and reject you. They may be your customer, even if you're a city, you've got customers, but I could move somewhere else. So we've got the 3 tiers. The first tier, they're people who, they're okay with you, but something better comes along, better price, something else, they'll jump ship. So for example, I've got a favorite, we'll call it a favorite French restaurant in town here in Valencia. I love it. I go there every week. It's fantastic. But the management changed one day and the service is slower. The food isn't so great, but I still go there because it's my habit. And it's okay, but so I'm first tier, not customer. A few weeks later, I go to my restaurant and I get food poisoning. I'm sick for 3 days. I become a tier 2. I know the restaurant. I'm not going back to that restaurant. I may never eat French food again. I'm second tier. Now, third tier is more interesting because, so now, have a wife and a family with my extra income and time. I don't go to a restaurant, I go to the movies. So I choose not a substitute, but I choose an alternative. And that's the key thing. What we're trying to get at here is that there are much more alternatives for us to learn about. Of course, we'd like to bring in our non-customers into our current customer list, but the number one point is to learn from them. Why are they choosing alternatives well outside of what we do? So I want to give you a case now of a city I lived in for some time and have a lot of connections to. I prefer the smaller version of it here in Valencia. I'm going to talk about Barcelona a bit and how they're still creating this blue ocean. And many of the insights come within government, outside of government, with a think tank I know very well, I've worked with, and also the population. So if all the stakeholders we're working with in this initiative here, this is, fortunately, we have this big festival here called Fallas, and they make these big statues and then they burn them down. But last year, as they're setting them up, they had to put masks on them and then tear them down. But what we're looking about mobility. Now, at least in the States, mobility is usually focused on access to places, but here we're talking about transportation, really. Here in Barcelona, massive increase of cars. So as you see, automobile dependencies up by 233%. Most cities develop, they devote 70% of public space to cars. Climate change, of course, local pollution causes enormous sickness globally. Some places are worse than others, of course, but enormous fatality rates. Gridlock, wasting so many hours of time each week. And the average speed in European cities is roughly that of a horse-drawn carriage, 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. And people think, oh, we build more roads, we, decrease congestion, but actually we just increase because, more roads equals more cars. It's just been proven time and time again. So this is one of those problems that we face, and every urban area faces these problems where it's like, we can't fix them. It's just the way it is. But here, I want to show you that by focusing on non-customers, in a government sense, we call them non-users, we can start finding the insights that kind of turn the keys to new solutions. So Barcelona, it's been a walled city. The Romans found it in 5 BC. It was a walled city like that for almost 2 millennia. And they just grow up higher and higher and higher as best as one could. I don't know if you've been to the Barri Gòtic in Barcelona, but even today, it's just, it's very dark, very condensed. But it created by the 1800s, created a lot of disease, a lot of strife because people are just living on top of each other. So in 1855, the Spanish government said, well, let's break down the walls, we'll build out. So they started looking for plans to do that. And so they turned to this guy, Cerda. He was kind of a young urban planner with no experience. And what he wanted to do was take the best of the countryside, the best of the city, so the best of the countryside, open air, open markets, everything's local, people are together, but they're not on top of each other. And transportation was part of it, but it wasn't the central feature. And so what he did is he made, going from these narrow streets, he made the Eixample. And these little blocks are called manzanas. And in these manzanas in the center, this is a new picture, but originally it was basically a park. On the ground floor of the manzana was the local shops. Then on top of the manzana is where people lived. So it was a community in each block. streets were used only for commercial traffic, bringing in fruit, vegetables, meat, what have you, to the markets that are based in the Manzana. Now, of course, as time went on, especially as the American culture, the cars started coming in the 1950s and 60s, you started seeing the streets get narrower and narrower. The sidewalks, the streets get wider and wider, the sidewalks get narrower and narrower. People started kind of buying up the center of the manzanas, started turning them into the private backyards and what have you. So the problem has been is that traffic keeps going up, the manzana keeps going down as far as local population goes, as far as their shops and what have you. So they started making malls outside of town you have to travel to, and it lost all local sense of identity. So having that small town feeling is completely gone. So looking at their as-is strategy canvas, road capacity went up, parking goes up, centralized shopping goes up. This is the centralized shopping outside of town. Public transportation is okay, but actually it hasn't expanded in the last 30 years. PT connections are the public transportation connections, so between buses and the metro and the above ground trains. Bike lanes have been okay, but not great. And the park areas have gone down dramatically. It used to be 30% of the town was parks. Now it's down below the single digits. Actually, less than single digit, down to 0.6% of the downtown area's parks. Traffic's increased over 15%. Private vehicles account for 20% of total movements in the city, yet they occupy 60% of the roads. Of course, the health impacts have been going up. And, premature deaths have gone up with it. So it's a big, big problem, but no one's really addressed it because they say, oh, this is how it is. So in comes this idea from a think tank, and then with the government and with the local population, called superblocks. Now, who is a non-customer in modern day Barcelona? For years and years and years, the customer were the local population, the local businesses, until the automobiles started really branching up in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Then the local population became the non-customer. The customer became the automobile companies. The customer became big business who wanted to make the malls and the centralized shopping. So what was once the customer becomes the non-customer. So superblocks, you go back to the non-customer, and the non-customer is the local people who live there, local businesses who want to be there. And this is the insights that they created. So the superblocks, they are now starting to move at a rapid rate, starting to look at, so this is one example, this is sent one, you're blocked off all traffic. You're not allowed to go in unless you live there. And the idea is that going back to the way it used to be, is there's only commercial traffic can come in to drop off fruits and vegetables and what have you. And it opens up about 8,000 meters in each corner. So it starts making the public space public again. It's not the public space becoming private for just cars. Yes, it creates traffic around, but that's already built there. So they started with 7, and they're going to have over 230 within the next decade or two. And the challenge is, how do we do this? How do we completely change the shape of the city? Well, the way is through fair process, and we'll go through this probably later, but fair process was they actually had referendums in each superblock before they changed it. Who wants it? They had a vote, and people voted, and they went back to the stakeholders, government, big business, what have you. And then they're like, we can argue with this. This is what the people want. They see that it works. They see what it changes as far as social life, as far as air quality, and it's being adopted time and time again. So the current model, well, the the majority of streets have been about, some public transportation, some bike lanes, but I tell you, riding a bike lane in Barcelona Central is really tough. It's congested. It's, again, 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. The superblock model, as you saw, it blocks it off. You're in a superblock. It creates public space. It creates better connections between bike lanes, buses, the metro. It's about making a city livable again. And so what we're doing is breaking the value cost trade-off. And we'll come back to this. I'll come back later in the process, but we're saying, what do we stop doing? What do we do less of? We're saying, learning from non-customers, what do we do more of? What do we add? How can we add value? And most importantly, we first make the utility very high, meaning that our users, our customers get something from it. Then we have the price that's right, and then we make the cost structure work. I'll go into this a bit deeper later. So this is the as is, and those super blocks change it. So they said, no, we're going to say, reduce the road capacity, reduce the parking, reduce the centralized shopping. We're going to raise public transportation, raise connections, raise bike lanes, increase the park areas, and create the community that was once there 100 years ago, bringing that community back. So the results, so yes, now there's 6 super blocks, 503, I was wrong, 503 are planned, and it'll reduce the pollution by 24%, and 70% of the streets will be devoted to mixed use, which is really fantastic. I live in a mixed use area here, and people see a car and they're like, oh, that's weird. If a car comes through. And this is what a super block does. It recreates the community and reduces the cars. So already vehicles have been reduced. There's only, I think there's 7 now, super blocks, and it reduces the vehicles by 58%. Air pollution is already down 15%. 30% of more local businesses come back to the super blocks because business is great when people can walk, when people can stroll, when they can sit on the terraza. The abilities of superblocks have already been impressive. If you look at the returns, billions per year already. I think it's over this amount already. By 2024, it'll reduce the car population by 230,000, and it's freeing up 8,000 square meters in each superblock. And it's amazing. The festivals, the just interaction with kids, adults, what have you, are all there. And now, especially with the pandemic, all of these cities are starting to follow suit, because people had to eat outside during the pandemic. So they blocked off cars, and all of these cities are starting to create their own super blocks, learning from this lesson. So this is the lesson here. We have a problem. It seems impossible. Our customer as a city has always been the automobiles. It has been the big business. And what if we go back to the non-customer? The non-customer is people who live in the city. You would think, why didn't you see that before? It's so obvious. But this is the point. The non-customers will be right in front of your eyes. They'll have incredible insights that are hidden just in plain sight. But since we don't interact with them day in and day out, we always miss them. So that is my bit on non-customers. Let me exit here. And if there's any questions at all, let me know.
You have some question? I thank you, Jason. Do you have some question for Jason? All of you?
Not really a question. I'm just giggling to myself because, you can't tell the students this. Everybody's their customer. Mm. And they don't see that it's possible to have non-customers because why? How dare somebody not have or want what they're going to be selling? So this is not a concept that, and I can say this categorically because I've made them do their research to go and validate a problem. And it just happens that on the first round of research that everybody buys in and everybody wants their product. So no round of research have any of them ever come back and said, we have to pivot. Our customers have said that this isn't a good idea. So they don't believe that anybody's never going to want to buy their product. So it's a hard concept to actually get across to them.
Indeed, it's you're absolutely right. People think that, well, why, you're an idiot. I mean, I don't know how many corporations I've worked with where they think their customers are idiots, and why don't they love us more? And people who don't love them are even bigger idiots. But they're the ones that actually have the most insight. They're the ones who there's a reason for it. And so getting over this arrogance and the inability to admit that you're not super delightful, you're not different, you're just really the same thing over and over again. So the non-customers have their own opinions, but we never like to talk to them because they don't like us. So it's very playground level of thinking with most corporations and governments, to be honest. So you're absolutely right. Okay, Alban, over to you. I've got to go cook a turkey.
Cooking, yeah. For Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. So,
thanks, Ethan.
See you tomorrow. Enjoy, everyone.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
So, as you can see here, it's key to have a very clear industry perimeter to start your journey, your Blue Ocean journey. That's why, because these non-customers, you see, it will be the first step to identify them, and then to be able to get interviews, to know them. All the key step and the key starting step when you really start a Blue Ocean strategy is when you identify these non-customers and you are ready to know what they live, what is their experience. And that's all this exploration step. That's why it's very important to be clear about the perimeter, the industry, because if it's this industry or this industry, if you're not clear about the industry perimeter, you will be not clear about the non-customers. You have to interview. You see. I see Solomon is joined us, and Rezib also. Hi to both of you. Solomon, Rezibi. Rezibi, you are from TUT, if I'm right. And Solomon, you are from UNISA, maybe?
Solomon is from DUT.
DUT also. Okay. Like Canaan.
And I'm from TUT.
TUT, okay. Maybe Solomon and Rezibi, you can share with us your feelings, your feedback from the session we had yesterday.
All right. Let's hope my background noise is not going to affect. But yesterday was it was informative. It kind of opened because after we went into our groups, Lana Brady was the one who actually gave feedback from the DUT InnoBees deliberations in terms of looking at which sector, of which we were looking at the recycling of plastics. What was more enlightening is the critic analysis that you actually did, where when we were doing, during our discussions, we looked at from the value chain perspective, but when we reported, you emphasized on the issue of saying, let's look at from the customer perspective side and bringing in the pains and the value that it creates from the customer perspective. So from my side, it was really informative. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward, going forward, that will be in the position to really embrace the Blue Ocean strategy going forward in assisting our SMEs. Thank you.
Thanks for this sharing. And Rezibi, sorry for the pronunciation of your name. It's Rezib or Rezibi? So I'm not clear.
It is pronounced Raisive.
Raisive, okay.
Yes, it is. I joined a group in which I didn't have any background information about like the industry altogether. I didn't know anything about it because I joined a group of, can I say, one member and one coach. So when I got there, they were already discussing, and I think you remember it's the GenSec group because they are what is it? They are consulting in the farming industry. So what I've noticed during the session is that we tend to deviate from the actual services that we are providing, or they tend to deviate from the actual services they are providing into something that they want to achieve, forgetting about what they are doing now and how to improve their current services. And then I thought when it came to that graph whereby you compare yourself with your competitors, I felt like we always want to say, I'm better than my competitors because I'm doing this differently. I'm doing this differently. And also observing the other groups. I remember I asked a question about the price that comes with converting plastic into the actual components that you're going to use for a bicycle. It's like we tend to assume that if we're going to recycle material in order to make another product, it's going to be cheaper. But we need to ask ourselves, why is it that the other people are not doing it? If it was that cheap, everybody was going to be doing it. So in terms of the prices, we tend to forget too many details there. But generally, I've learned a lot from the session. And what confuses me is because now I still don't know if I'm a coach or an entrepreneur because I'm not part of an incubator. Yeah.
Yeah, you are from TUT. You are invited
Yes, I am from
by
TUT.
UNISA. UNISA give you some seat to TUT.
Thank you.
That's why. But you need to maybe to clarify with Yongama or Ayanda from the UNISA. They will tell you. But on my side, I receive you in the list of the coaches invited by UNISA from TUT. So thanks you for your reaction, your point about the plastic and eco bicycle project, and of course maybe you have noticed that it's this strategy Canva. It's not, and I can also share it. It's not about what we do and how we do this or this project. It's about what the client get, what the customer get in terms of value. It's all about that. And it's a very new way to think. Most of the case, we are more, and especially when we are an engineer, we are more in the how we do that. What is the feasibility? What is the techniques to do that? What are the costs? So if we use some waste or some plastic, recycled plastic, it will be maybe less expensive to produce. But the customer, at the end, it can be a company, it can be a citizen, it can be a family. It's more bicycle buyers, it's professional. Any transport companies are using bicycles. They are more in what they get. It's all what they have in mind. It's what do they get in terms of value from this eco bicycle or from these Olympic cycles or railway cycles and everything. They are not about how you do that. They don't care. Most of the time we forget about it. And this strategic Canva is only what they get. It's only from their perspective, from their point of view, what do they get if they choose Salomon cycle or eco bicycle or cycle house and everything. You see? Because this Brussian strategy, it will be all about finding new values to bring to these customers, and it will be inspired like we just said before you arrived, will be inspired by the non-customers of the industry. That's why it's very key to be clear about this industry perimeter. It's the first information you give, you fill in when you create a new project here. You have to say, okay, on which industry perimeter I will innovate. I will bring some new values. Version strategy is just bringing a new value and reducing the cost, reducing the value where people don't care, where these customers, they don't need this value. It just, and most of the companies, they are not clear about that. They mix what they bring with how they do it, how they bring it. Okay, do you have some reactions or questions about this? Or some compliments? Feel free to interact, to have your video on, and so it's more an exchange here, especially with the coaches. It's an exchange, it's interactive. Can you all set your video if you have enough connection, of course? It'll be more friendly to see all your faces. Okay, if connection is bad now, of course we can't. NK, nice to see you from Durban. So what do you think, NK from Island? What do you think, NK, from this?
So in terms of when we look at the sort of strategy canvas, right? I think what I appreciate most is about the graphical representation of it, right? Firstly. And secondly, it's about sort of listing the many aspects that pertain to the strategy. I think we oftentimes, whenever we do sort of qualitative and quantitative sort of work in terms of questionnaires and research and all of that stuff, I don't think the way that they generate actually populates on this graph. And when you are able to contrast the as, when, and as is when you place both graphs on top of each other and you sort of see that an inflection point, I think there's value in that.
Lanan, you want to react to?
You know, even as I keep looking at the graphs presented today, am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that I unmuted myself. Even as I'm looking at the graphs today, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, I know that yesterday, you know, we looked at it from completely the upside down approach and we need to redo it. And I'm still wondering, how are we going to redo it? I don't know, Solomon, maybe you can help me here because I'm still grappling with, you know, how this correction is going to happen. I can see how it's working for everybody else, and I can see that they've all got customers in mind already. And maybe it's because you're only focusing on one sector, and within this group that we had multiple sectors.
Of course, it's the starting point. The starting point of any strategy is to be clear about where you start. If you don't know where you start, and that's why when you see, I cannot change it on your project because I was not the creator of this project, but you see, when we add a new project, the second question is, what is your industry perimeter? Of course, and it's exactly what we said. It was interesting to do this strategy, this Canva. It's not a strategy Canva. This Canva, it's like a supplier, plastic supplier Canva analysis and value analysis, because it gives you some information, and any information we get, it's interesting. And now you are ready, certainly, to split into different industries using plastic, certainly. Like you said, jewelry, we said maybe shoes, manufacturing, and you have to do for each of this industry
in a different canvas.
Of course, yes, of course.
Yeah.
That's the point. So it will be different projects, different teams, or different, with a starting point very clear about what is the current industry, what are the current offerings on this industry, and what are their value, the values they bring today. And the strategy Canva is just a view, a very clear and simple view about what is currently proposed on this industry you want to innovate on in terms of value. What are the values the customer get on this industry? That's why it's very key to define, to be clear about the industry perimeter and about the current customers. And you have a very full, we'll continue to, we'll complete it, but here is very full example you have on about Sun Mobility. I will show you more in details today what is Sun Mobility. It's an Indian company in the transportation energy infrastructures for the electric vehicles in cities. And you see, it's very clear about their perimeter. It's energy infrastructure for electric vehicles. It's very precise. And the current customers of this industry is very clear. It's fleet management organization. It can be municipalities, taxi companies, rental firms, car rental. So it's very clear. You see, just with this industry perimeter and this list of clients, of customers, you know exactly where they are and where they were starting from. And you know, innovation, it's really sometimes it's very, people are missing some innovation or some potential of new businesses just because they are not clear about their starting point. So they cannot evaluate the gap they bring in terms of value. They cannot evaluate the value of their innovation because they don't know, they are not clear about what is the state of the art, what is currently on this industry. You see my point? So it's very key to be clear about where you start. That's the key element of the process. Okay, Lena, it makes all more clear.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for that.
Okay.
I'm just wondering to myself, would I have to, you know, if I break this down into more than one project, am I going to be mentoring or coaching more than one project simultaneously then? Or would they have to go to different coaches?
Ideally, you on DUT, you have several coaches, I guess. You are so ideally, it should be one coach per industry. And but you can have different projects on the same industry. The industry perimeter can be the same for different groups. But then
the final product must all be to the same different customer then.
The beginning will be quite the same, and they will have to innovate on the same industry, but they will certainly at the end of the process have a very different innovation.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you for that.
Welcome. And of course, why we highly recommend to have only one coach per industry perimeter, because it's better for you to be trained on this industry perimeter and to be clear and to be following only one industry. It will be easier to learn for your learning time. That is as you want. Okay, do we have some other question about this starting point, industry perimeter, current customers, the value from the client, from the customer perspective, we evaluate on this strategic Canva? Do we have some other reactions or questions about that? No? Okay. So I will share with you now this example. We have someone in the chat. Very clear. Okay, good. So we'll share with you now. Yeah, you remember most of you at the first coach session, Jason has introduced with some examples about this blue ocean six pass, this famous six pass. It's very key. These six pass, we use them to find new exit doors to go out of this industry perimeter, to find new ways to bring values and to find new ideas, this mix of exploration. So these non-customers, Jason has introduced, these non-customers, we understand their experience from the exploration, and we mix that with this, I would say, insight, ideas coming from this six pass. So six pass, first one is time trends. Time trends, it's all about what is coming on the 10 or 20 years forward, what will be coming here on the society in terms of new techniques, new offerings, new ways to do that, or new evolution in the society. Or it's what is coming, time trends. Second of the six paths, it's alternative industries. Alternative industries, it's all these other industries, so not the bicycle manufacturing, for instance, or not transportation. There are other industries, but they bring a value quite close, quite similar to your customers. Or they can be also simple alternative, like walking instead of having a bus. This alternative industry, most of the time, they are used, their customers are your non-customers, your unexplored. Unexplored non-customers, most of the time, they found some alternatives to have this value, not from your current offerings on the industry, but they find this value in other industries. So these industries are alternative industry. The third six path is strategic group. And you saw this, remember, on the transportation group. Let me show it to you. You remember, it's Opla Smart City, yeah, with different, you see, here you have, it was maybe more, transportation, okay, well, it's when we have for transportation, maybe here, Tremolo, yeah. It's, you see here, you have, when you group taxis, private vehicle, Uber, it's one of the strategic group of this industry, of this mobility or transportation industry. It's all they're using cars. It's all about cars, this strategy. And if you group Reavaya, the bus company, GoTrain, Metrobus, you see, it's quite the same strategy. They use public transport. So here we are seeing two strategic group. One is car, and the other one is using bus, public transport. So strategic group, it's a group. It's different groups you make from based on the strategy.
Albon, sorry, I just have one question, please.
Yes.
Regarding alternative industries, there are all the other industries that bring value, a similar value to our current customers, or to
similar experience. Your customers.
Our non-customers.
No, to your customers, and of course, they can address non-customers.
They can address non-customers.
Because your non-customers, most of the time, they will be client of this alternative industry, and especially the unexplored.
They are our non-customers, but maybe their customers.
The alternative industries, they are the alternative chosen by your non-customers, especially the unexplored customers.
Okay.
And I see Lana Ann and Kwesi has raised their hand. Yeah.
Yes, if I can just ask you a question. So could these alternative industries be your competitors? So for example,
No, it's very important.
Okay.
It's to have
I think that's the confusion because I could see this.
It's macroeconomy. We are doing here macroeconomy. You see, it's not engineering. It's not competition strategy. It's macroeconomy. So we are looking at an industry, my industry. That's why it's the first information you gave when you create a project. Yeah, it's my industry. Which industry perimeter you want to innovate on? So regarding this industry, what are the other industries alternative? So with a close value, with a close experience, and most of the time, as we said, they are chosen by your non-customers. Your non-customers, they found alternatives, and certainly in other industries. I can give you an example. Here you see you have about the water, Brita. You know Brita? This filters you have. It can be carafe. It can be on the plumb. So when you are from the industry of water bottles, you are one of the alternative industry will be the water suppliance or water distribution. You see, it's totally different industries. One is selling bottles of water, and the other one is distributing this water to the households. They are alternative industry because they bring a value very close. They bring drinkable water.
Yet, Albin, although the one is selling bottled water and the other one is selling water filters, the end result satisfaction could be very similar.
Yeah, they are alternative industries, these two industries. See? But they bring a value because they bring a very close value, but they are totally different industries. They are alternative solution from, or you buy the bottle or you have distribution, or also, and when you look at these two alternative industries, you can have this idea. This idea is Brita. It's a very old blue ocean strategy. It's a German company built in the 50s. It's a very big business from the 50s. They have made filters. Filters you plug on the carafe, on your plums at home to have clear water, filtered water from the plums. See, it's make all clear, more clear. Kwesi, you raise your hand for a long time. Sorry. Kwesi, yeah, if you want to ask or react. Kwesi?
Sorry, I'm on two devices, so I'm trying to turn one off.
Okay.
Okay, I hope there's no feedback.
Yeah.
So thank you. I think the one question was on the alternative industries, but I think now I get it. And then I just wanted to ask, for the strategic groups, do you always refer back to your as-is strategy and select that, or can you add additional strategic groups when you get to this point?
Strategic group is still also a description of the industry. You will give, you already started with the strategy canvas, as I was showing here. You see here, you can see here the different competitors. You have different offerings, proposals in this industry of the transportation. Public, you have certainly different groups here. So you group the competitors together based on their strategy. So you can say, for instance, there is a group of private vehicle, taxi, for instance, taxis and Uber. It's the same strategy. So they are in the same strategic group. Rea Vaya and the Metrobus, they are the same strategy. They propose bus, public transport with bus. It's the same strategy. And you see my point?
Thank you, Alban, and I understand that. However, remember with this canvas, right? Because one is it can get very clustered. So then you make a decision to remove certain things. But there's, for example, issues like rail that one didn't include here that could potentially be, a competing mode of transport. So I think for me, what I'm trying to understand is that should you limit yourself to the strategies that you already identified or the strategic groups that you've already identified? Or do you
would
then
that not
also
be an
look beyond
alternative
what
industry?
you looked at there, because you obviously had to focus your analysis?
Yeah, of course. Lana, no, Kwesi is talking about strategic group.
Yes, but when she said that about the railway, wouldn't railway be an alternative industry if we were talking about modes of transport?
Yongama from the
I think Lana, so
I cannot hear you, Yongama. The connection is bad.
Late.
We cannot hear you, Yongama. The connection.
To just also help with Lana's point.
Yongama, please try to find a better connection if possible. We cannot hear you. If you can find another place or is a better connection, I don't know. Yes, sorry, Lana.
So perhaps, Alban, I think maybe if you could just give us an example of the difference then between an alternative industry and a strategic group, maybe that will be able to solve the confusion.
Yeah, but on this example here, for instance, when the industry perimeter is mobility, transportation, here you will see different ways to be transported or to move. There will be different strategic group. So you can join taxis and Uber, it's one group.
Because they're in the same industry.
Yeah, the same industry, alternative industry.
And that's why I said, so rail would then be the alternative industry.
Rail.
Sorry, Albert?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe to touch on what Lana is saying, the Gautrain and rail are the same competitors directly, the same way that Uber and taxi are the same. But if one looks at Uber, taxi, and Gautrain, that is a different target market than metro rail and metro bus. So maybe as a niche market perspective, metro bus and metro rail sit in the same strategic area, while Uber, taxis, and Gautrain sit in another.
Yeah, so yeah, it all depends. Like we said before, you're right. It's all about your perimeter, your industry perimeter. So if you are clear about it, and you say my industry perimeter is transportation in the city, mobility, yeah, all of this, and you can add the train, the suburban train or the metro thing. In the city, there will be competitors, there will be different offerings, and you can group them in different strategic groups based on their strategy. So one are proposing public transport.
So for me, Alban, I see the strategy being 4 wheels versus no wheels.
Okay.
So I don't see.
What a practical way to look at it.
So here there are different. And if, for instance, you want to look at alternative industries for this public transport. For instance, it will be air transportation. It will be bus on the long distance. There will be alternative. They make you move with this very close experience, but there are other industries.
Sorry, Alban, I actually feel like we got so caught up in this analysis that my question was not answered. And my question was, should I just look to that x-axis for my different strategic groups and ignore any other strategic groups that I might be aware of? Or when I'm thinking of strategic groups, do I also then add those strategic groups that would not have formed part of my as-is strategy?
No, strategic group, it's the... next time we'll show, tomorrow we'll show examples, more examples, but strategic group is just a map, a strategic map, where you have all your competitors for your industry, and they are grouped in strategic groups. So it's not only the competitors you have in mind, it's all the competitors. It's always a macro approach, industry approach. You see? It's okay? It's answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So we'll come back on that, don't worry. A decision chain here, it's a focus on the influencers, the decision chain, so influencers, prescriptors, deciders, decision makers, not the customers, but they have an influence on the customer, of the final customer. And complementary products and services, it's all the products and services used in complement of the current standard offerings of this industry, the one you have drawn on your strategic canvas. They are complementary. So, for instance, when you are mobile phone industry, when you come from the complements of this mobile phone industry, it would be, all the protection you have on the mobile, or all the things you need, or the app, the mobile app. It's complements. And don't worry if, of course, on each of these 6 paths, you will have, you will find sometime same result. It's not separate. The objective is to be inspired. In 6 paths give you inspiration. So of course it will be some coverage, some result will be the same coming from each of the 6 paths. It's not a problem. Emotional and functional appeal, it's you change your view. If your industry is more driven by emotions, you will describe all the functional things, or you could make it the opposite. And if it's driven by the functionality, by the functional, you will find emotional descriptors. It's all the description of the emotional and functional in your industry. What describes your industry in terms of emotion and functionality? Nanan, yes, you raise your hand.
Yes, I'm just looking at the decision chain. Sorry, I'm going back a few steps. Can those decisions be decisions that are sort of like completely out of your control, like global decisions?
It's from your industry. It's still a description from the industry. On this industry, you will make a list of all the decision makers, influencers.
But they could be global.
It can be anything. It can be a newspaper, a magazine. It can be an influencer on YouTube.
So I'm just thinking about global policymakers, and
yes, they can have influence. Yeah,
of
course. Yeah.
And then just looking at complementary. Could it ever be complementary with an LI?
It's complement. It's complementary.
Because you get complement and you get complement, the one with the E and the one with the I.
It's not complement. No. Yeah, maybe.
Because I think both of them can have I mean, I'm not sure if it's a spelling error or if you deliberately mean it's complementary.
It's complement. They bring a complement to the standard offering in the industry.
Then it's complement. Then it's PLI.
No, it's complement. It's a complement. It complete. It's
the I is if you're praising something, right?
Yeah, of course. It's
but
not.
Yeah. So Kwesi, that's, you see, for me, that's interesting. Could it not be both?
No. We are talking. It's Boolean strategy. There are the principles I share with you. You can also find other ways. So here, for instance, complementary this industry, the transportation. It will be all services. For instance, you have when you are on board or when you have to wait for the taxi or for the train or for the bus. You are listening some music. And you could be so all these complements you are using with the standard offering of this industry. Okay. Here you see you have on the so normally we already introduced this concept last time. We'll continue to introduce them to give some examples. So regarding the six paths, here you see you have for each the 6 paths descriptions on the platform. For the 2nd of December, ideally you will have to describe each one. So you add a row here and you have the question for each of the 6 paths. It gives you the definition I brought to you, and you have to enter an answer. It's always from the industry point of view. It's very important. Okay, so for each you can add as many rows as you need. Alternative industry. Okay, this question here, which offering will permit me to propose an equivalent value, and you answer all of these questions, and it will fuel you with this alternative industries, this time trend strategy group. Okay. Basma, you raise your hand. Basma, yes. Want to? Okay, Basma.
Alban, perhaps she can't come on voice, but she has left a comment in the chat.
Okay, I did not know the emotional and functional appeal. So as you can see here, emotional and functional appeal, it's all the descriptors you can use to describe this industry in terms of emotion or in terms of functionality. So the question is, my industry driven more by functional or emotion, and how can I make my offering more functional or more emotion? When we say my offering, it's the current offering on the industry. Okay. It's very important for you to get and to transmit that to your entrepreneurs. We are thinking as an industry, not as a startup, or we are thinking as an industry. That's why we'll be able to innovate for the industry, to bring something new, this innovation we are looking for. We are not starting with already an idea and something or a feasibility or some way we want to proceed. No, we are thinking about the industry in terms of values. What is currently proposed in this industry? Okay. For instance, regarding emotion and functional appeal, you have some very classical examples from the Blue Ocean strategy history, Starbucks and the Viagra from Pfizer. They start from an industry. Starbucks is the industry of the takeaway coffee. Okay. And they brought, it's very functional, this kind of industry. Takeaway coffee, before Starbucks, it was very emotional. You just come, you order a coffee, you pay, and you go back. And they made it very emotional. They brought the sofa, your name on the coffee cup, the Wi-Fi, and you can have as much coffee as you want, and you stay with us. They brought emotional elements, you see. And the same for Viagra from Pfizer. The Viagra, it's in the pharmacy, in the drug, in this drug industry to the disease from as you know, and in this industry, it's very, very functional. And what you bring with the Viagra, with this little blue pill, it's a way of life. You feel better, you will live better. It's not about treating a disease, like very functional things. It's very emotional. You make people live better. Even young people take sometimes Viagra just for fun. But, whereas they are not sick, they don't need. You see, it's make more clear. So I will share with you now, if there are no questions, I will share with you an example. Here, Sun Mobility, this one you have seen in the, this one you have seen in the, already set in the platform. So yeah, I will share a video with you and you will know more about this. It's a Blue Ocean Awards winner we had this year in 2021. It's the first international one we had so with the South African Blue Ocean Award. But yeah, it was open to any companies in the world. And this one is Indian, and it was about mobility, transportation. So let me share my audio. Okay, let me know if you cannot hear the audio, but it should work.
We are Sun Mobility, the world's leader in energy-agnostic swappable batteries.
Do you have the audio from the video?
We are Sun Mobility, the world's leader in technology-agnostic swappable batteries for electric vehicles. By addressing the key challenges associated with them, we are rethinking energy for EVs with our open architecture infrastructure. Fossil fuel-run vehicles are choking up many of the world's teeming cities with smog and smoke, prompting governments all around the world to mandate the replacement of these polluting vehicles with electric ones. And the automotive industry is following suit. However, mass adoption remains elusive, as customers struggle with high costs, limited range, and long recharging time. Sun Mobility's innovative approach solves these challenges by separating batteries from vehicles and offers energy as a service. Customers pay as they go, only for the energy used for a hassle-free experience. They use our app to easily find the nearest swap point, monitor battery state of charge, and manage their payments. For larger vehicles like buses and trucks, we have designed a state-of-the-art automatic swapping station with a robotic arm to perform the swap within minutes. Whether the swap is manual or automatic, the benefits are clear: zero downtime, lower costs, and lighter vehicles. So far, our platform has powered over 1.5 million miles and 150,000 trips in India via e-bikes, e-autos, e-rickshaws, e-loaders, and e-buses. We will soon go global in our market, as we see tremendous potential for swappable battery technology worldwide, especially in the commercial vehicle segments. Founded by visionary leaders passionate about accelerating e-mobility, we are a 270-person strong team with over 150 people in technology. In a few short years, we have built partnerships with world-class players across the mobility ecosystem like Bosch, Uber, Microsoft, Piaggio, Indian Oil, Ashok Leyland, among many others. Indian Oil has the largest retail footprint in India, with over 30,000 outlets, making our swapping technology as easily accessible as conventional refueling. Our technology is designed from the ground up for superior safety and diverse operating conditions, and offers huge benefits to our users. It saves them time, increases cargo and passenger space, eliminates range anxiety, gives them energy as a service they can measure and see in real time on their phone, gives Sun Mobility robust top line and margins, and has a completely customer-centric approach. Why should you be interested? Sun Mobility has a deep competitive moat, incredibly strong international patent and intellectual property protection, extremely limited competition, and our platform can adapt to any improvement in battery technology. Sun Mobility is rethinking energy for EVs to transform urban mobility with its open architecture infrastructure. It is a truly unique solution made in India for the world.
So do you see, what they bring, what they eliminate, what they reduce, what they create? And you can also make a connection with the 6 paths. You can see from which of the 6 paths they were mostly inspired by. So first, do you see, compared on this industry, standard offering, the industry, it's a fleet, it's energy infrastructure for electric vehicles. What do they reduce, eliminate? What they create?
I definitely think they're eliminating fossil fuels.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the one thing they were raising, because they said it made more space for passengers.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So I'm not sure if that's a raise or a create.
No, it's raise. It's when you say more fuel, more or less, it's raise or reduce.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say reduce charger dependency, yes, right. And do you see what they eliminate compared to the standard offering of this, this charger you have for electric vehicles? What do they eliminate? What do they create?
They eliminate dependency.
Yes.
Sorry, it's my multiple device issues. I think they eliminate dependency on fuel.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Dependency to the battery limitation.
Yeah, like
reduce pollution. Yeah, it's green energy. Yeah. Mostly, the industry, the industry perimeter is mostly infrastructure for electric vehicles, and the customers they are the fleet managers, fleet management companies, or public or municipalities. You can see here the matrix. So, and you can see here why it's so important when we present a blue ocean matrix, we start by the industry. This famous one we were discussing at the beginning, the starting point. Here, energy infrastructure for very electric vehicles. This is their starting point. This is their industry, where they bring something new and where they eliminate low cost and differentiation, creation and elimination. And the standard offerings they have on this industry, there are all these charging stations for electric vehicles. You can see for Tesla, for Unity, all this, and also these big companies, they propose infrastructure to deploy that. Yeah, exactly. BASMA, they reduce and they eliminate. They eliminate the refueling time, like Kwesi said also. It's eliminated because when you swap, it takes no time. Just swap, it takes 3 seconds. There is no refueling time. You don't need to wait for. It's the biggest thing they eliminate. See, and they create. You see all these elements. They are the same. They are key elements. You see in the matrix. Yeah. They are key elements. These key elements are the same nature of elements you were using in the strategic Canvas. And you see here, in fact, we are redefining a strategic Canvas. So we apply actions on the strategic Canvas as is, the same like you were drawing yesterday. So it was all about elimination or reduction or raise or creation, about values, not about how we do it. So battery swap technology is not our point. We don't care. Yeah, it's just a customer perspective. What is the experience of the customer? What do we change for the customer in terms of value? Not about what we do or patents or technology. The customer don't care. It's the same for him. You can have patents. He will have the same experience. So create, it's not tech. Create, it's, for instance, here for the customers. These customers, they are mostly, as we said, fleet management companies and municipalities who want to have electric vehicles. And they are very facing problems. It's very issues with this refueling time and the range of the bus or the vehicle. So, and also in the investment. And here what they create, it's unlimited driving range. It's very key for these clients. And also they create the cost parity between IC and electric vehicle because they will propose separate battery from the vehicles. So the fleet management company or the municipalities don't have to invest in this battery. It's separate. They just pay when they refuel, they pay for the electricity, like they would have to pay for the fuel in a classical vehicle. So you see the point? It's all about values. It's not about how we do. It's not how you will do that. It's what they will get. Okay, this is the key elements. The same as on strategic Canvas. And they reduce also the loss of revenue because of long refueling time, because you have immobilization of the vehicle. So it's a loss of revenue for the fleet management company. And they reduce the cost of ownership because of this battery separate from the vehicle. When you buy a vehicle, you don't have to pay for the battery. And it's mostly 30% of the cost for an electric vehicle. And raise the uptime because you swap and go in 2 minutes. Okay. Regarding non-customers, there are to be non-customers. There are the pro going electric. So they were using traditional vehicles and they want to be electric. Against anti, there are all the non-customers who are against the electric because of this problem of range, of investment, charging time. And Unix World it's all these cities who are still using conventional fleets, thermic vehicles, and they don't want yet to change because certainly all of these problems. And when you propose this solution to them, it can make them change their mind. Okay. So the value proposition is refueling electric vehicles faster, cheaper, and more convenient. They have just raised some months ago $50 million, and they have very high-level partnerships and investment from Bosch, from several companies. They are also in partnership with Michelin after the Blue Ocean Awards, because they were detected by Michelin from the Blue Ocean Awards. Do you have questions? Yeah.
Alban, is it possible that in this quest to turn non-customers into customers, it's possible to lose customers along the way?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. But you have to stay, you have to be mass market always. It's one of the rules, you know, we have remind. So, of course, you will, the Wii is the same. The Wii, it was inspired by non-players, non-gamers, older people, children. So with the Wii, Nintendo Wii, of course, you will not address hard gamers. Hard gamers will be lost. But you can open a so big market of all these children, older people. Wii is even used in a retirement house for education, for re-education. So it's open so big market that it's not a problem to lose around 10 or 20% of the current customers, because you are mass market. You still have an interesting and very new valued offering for most of the current customers also. Other question? No? So we can have a break now if you want, and after that you will train yourself on the non-customers, profiling the non-customers, and starting this 6-pass description. So on on this platform, we have our coach project with water and also waste management somewhere. Coach water and coach healthcare, no? Coach waste management, yeah. Okay. So let's have a break now. It's now 4 p.m. We can come back in 15 minutes, or at 4:15 South African time. Good for you. I see Judy has joined us. Hi, Judy. So we come back. Hi, Judy.
Hi.
From which organization are you? Sorry.
Judy, yeah, I'm from system.
From, sorry?
The growth system.
From which organization, sorry?
I'm under Tshwane.
Tshwane?
Yes.
City of Tshwane. Yes, Judy.
Yes.
Judy, yeah, no, there are so many people.
No, it's fine. No,
yeah, it's
no
good.
problem.
So it's good. So you are from.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Alban. I missed it in my diary, and
yeah. That's why we said no, it's not a problem. That's why we said you need to check, because everybody has to check that he has all the slots booked in his agenda, and you can add it here, directly from the platform.
Okay, no, I will do that.
Because sometimes the mailbox are blocking some invites. We don't know why. So all the main session and all the coach session. You need to check that you have all of them.
Okay, no, we'll make sure that I know about tomorrow's session. Yes.
Okay, and check. Is there they have a ranking, so it follows normally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, no, that's perfect.
There is a miss. Okay, so we come back in 15 minutes at 4:15.
Okay.
See you all.
Thank you.
Welcome. So we are back. If you have a good connection, of course, feel free to open your camera, your video. It's more friendly. Of course, if no connection, no good connection, no problem. So are we all back? Everybody's back. So, okay, let's continue. Now we will jump into the workshop part to train you in advance. I will share my screen. So we'll go back on our waste management and water, I propose, for this part. So as you can see on the Sun Mobility example here, the non-customers, you have here the third part, identification of the non-customers. So you can click here anywhere, you see, and add a new non-customer. So you have current, yes, current market customers, current customers, and this here, this pink here, they are the soon to be, the to be non-customers. So they are ready to jump out of the market. The violet here, it's anti, against your current industry, current offering, current industry offering, and the unexplored here, the blue, they are very distant. It means they have no, they have not been addressed by any actors of the industry. Okay, here you have the example I've shown you with Sun Mobility. So the pro going electric, there to be, there will be soon non-customers. The anti, they have some reservation with a barrier like range, charging time. Some other are against going electric, so against the electric infrastructure for electric vehicles. And as we said, large range of cities are turning their fleet from thermic to electric. So they are unexplored. Okay, so I propose you switch now. We'll split the group in two. One in the water, one in the waste management. And you can continue what you were doing last time. You were here at this part for waste, for water. So you see, you just click on anywhere on the page, on the draw, to add non-customers. You name them here. It's profiling. So for instance, non-customers of the water industry, drinkable water industry, it will be for the, can give some example for the to be. Like we said, maybe they are leaving this. So we were about other every time. Maybe they are not sure about the quality of the water, so they will buy water bottles even more. Or maybe there are some allergic to the treatments we have on the water. So all of them, they are non-customers. They are soon to be, because maybe they buy less and less, or they use less and less the water from the plums, from the distribution. Or maybe some of them are totally stopping. They don't use at all any water from the plums. They just, or some of them, they use water from the rain. So they are unexplored. Some of them are like in the township are not connected to the distribution of water. So they use water from, I don't know, from the rain, or some of them, maybe they connect to other distribution system. They're also unexplored. So it's okay for all of you. Yeah, this part. We switch into two groups, one on water, one on waste management. We need to connect the platform here. I will create the two groups. Okay. As we said, it's good to, I will precise drinkable water distribution, because we need to be clear about the industry. Okay. So now you have received the invite to join one of these two groups to work all together like last time on these non-customers. And also you can start or continue with 6PASS. If you have not received the notification, you can let me know and I will make you jump to the group you want. So I see here. So Kenseni, Les Echos, Solomon, Yongama, Judy, you have not yet, maybe you have not received the notification. Please let me know in which group you want to join.
I would like to go to the waste management one, Alba.
Okay. It's done.
Thank you.
Welcome. I see Kenseni. I'm Jonas. Hi, Kenseni. Kenseni from Taxnovation.
Hi, Alban.
Hi, thank Kenseni. You just join us. Maybe we had a quick feedback session to share before you arrived, and we introduced non-customers and also 6PASS with some examples. It will be the session we'll have tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll ask to the entrepreneurs to share and to present their own strategic canvas, as is strategic canvas, and the workshop will be about non-customers, profiling, and the 6PASS. starting the 6 pass, the description of the 6 pass, like we have introduced to the coach at the first session. Maybe you have some feedback regarding the session we had yesterday you would like to share? Yeah.
Yes, yesterday, it's just that with our team, we struggled a bit in terms of, forming a group and also being able to gather the startups, because I had 4 startups under our incubation program, and most of them, they wanted to form their own groups. So it was just, those logistics of, trying to get them to at least form 1 or 2 groups. So that was a bit of a challenge that I encountered yesterday. And
you mean they wanted to have a 1-person group, each of?
Yes, 1-person group.
Yes, it's really difficult.
Yeah, so that was the challenge. So also trying to get them to join the breakaway session that we had created was also a challenge. But in terms of, except for that particular challenge, we were able to form a group and then come up with an idea. So at least in terms of participation, it was good, from the perspective of the startups, being able to come up with different ideas in, being able to form that idea that we had agreed upon, and also using the platform in terms of being able to identify customers, being able to, identify what, like, the key elements that goes into the business idea. So that is in a nutshell in terms of the feedback. And then on the bright side, it's the duration of the course. It was a bit long, but it was manageable.
Yes, regarding the availability from your coaches and everything, that you mean?
Sorry?
You mean about the availability of your coaches?
Yes. So in terms
this point,
of,
just to update you, because we have discussed and we just have, shared at the beginning of this session, we shared with all the people here, all the participants, and from Quizy also Insight. I see Quizy, you raise your hand. We have decided that, we will have the coach session to show you in advance what will be shared, what will be presented to the main session. So as a result, it means your coaches are free to join the main session or not, if they want, especially in the morning. And in the afternoon, the workshop, we need some coaches, of course, or we can also be the coaches, but it's free to you, to your coaches, to manage, supervise your entrepreneurs when they want. But of course, your entrepreneurs need to work during this workshop time.
This workshop
period, they can be supported by other coaches from other organizations if your coaches are not all available. And your coaches need to have some appointments with them to be sure they are still on the track and not lost. So that I think it could bring more flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. No, that's great.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Quizy, you raise your hand. Sorry. Quizy?
Yes. So we were in the drinkable water group.
Yes.
Now on the platform, it seems like the group's no longer there.
On the platform? No, it's still here on the platform.
Okay, what are we doing wrong? Because both Lissafa and I couldn't find it.
You cannot find it. Let me check. Just maybe. Now I see it on my side, but maybe it's not. You are. It's Water. The name is Coach Water.
Oh, is it just? No, wait. See, I saw it. It popped now. Is it under assignments?
Coach Water. It's at the beginning of the list. Maybe you can refresh if you don't see it. It was not shared with all. Okay, I just shared with all. Okay, no, you should see it. Yeah, sorry.
Just give me a second.
Yeah, normally you should see it now.
Both Lucifer and I couldn't find it.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's shared with everyone. Everyone can see it. We have Kensani, Rezi, Solomon, Yongama. In which group you want to jump to? Water or waste management?
I can join the waste management.
Okay. Solomon, Yongama, Rezi B. Sorry, I'm still not pronouncing your name. Good. Yes. Can you remind me about the pronunciation of your name? Rezi. I'm bad. We cannot hear. Solomon, Yongama, and Rezibi, you are not yet in a group. Need to jump in a conference room.
Okay, so the weirdest thing is happening, Alban, where it pops up and then disappears, the water.
Huh?
I see it right at the top and then it disappears, like instantly.
Okay. Maybe there is a bug. Maybe there is a glitch. Let me check that. Do you see it now?
No. It's on the BBOA page, right? And
Yes, yeah. Exactly. You see waste management?
I see waste management. I see UNISA TUT. The only coaches one is the waste management.
I don't know what is happening. Okay.
Do you still have it on your side?
Okay, what I will do is I will make you. Who wants to work on the water?
It was Natalie and I can't remember the other guys. Noktula was in the water.
So Kwezi, Natalie.
Yes, Noktula.
Natalie Mangamat.
Mahamate, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And are there other people?
I can't remember the other people that were in the group.
The water, but they are connected now because I see only.
So Lesego joined the water group. She's actually waiting in the breakout room. The two of us were in there because we both could not find the water group.
No, you should see it because I make you you are now, you should be now a moderator, so you can see all the projects. You need to refresh the page.
Okay. Still have DUT Innoviz at the top, energy, Team Josie, agricultural service technologies, sun mobility, Hopla, smart city, waste management, traffic light management, city of Tshwane waste.
You see all the project now, Amalie?
I see quite a few projects, but just one coach's project. Oh, there we go. Okay, now it's on there.
No, you are moderator, so you can see all the projects. Because
Okay.
there is a bug to share this project. I will ask to the support to fix that. And Natalie also made a moderator, so she can see all the project too.
Okay.
And which other persons, which other colleagues you?
Nokutula Shangwe.
Lukutula, but she's not connected on the Zoom. Huh?
She's not here today, no.
No. Oh, so who is here today and need to access water?
Myself. And Lesego is part of that group. Yes.
Lesego, are there two Lesego?
I think it's Lesego Piri, if I'm not mistaken. Is there Lesego Piri?
Because Lesego is not connected anymore. It was so she's a man or a lady?
She's a lady.
A lady, because I don't see her connected now on the Zoom.
That's weird. Okay, let me go into the breakout room and see if she's there and I'll pop back out.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, she's gone, that's why.
Yes.
I think she left the meeting.
Yeah. Okay, we'll make her moderator too. Lisaro Mongwatsan?
No. It was
Mongwatsan?
No.
Lisaro Firi. Lisaro Firi.
Yes, Lisaro Piri.
Okay. Okay, she's a moderator, so she can see also all the project. Okay. If there are other people who want to join to connect this project, let me know.
Okay.
Mama, I can eat the rest of food.
You can eat your peaches, but you must eat your bread.
Yongama, are you here?